Views expressed in this podcast are for entertainment purposes only and do not reflect any affiliated organizations. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to episode 6 of the No Safe Word podcast. And it's been an explosive week, huh?
Wow.
What's it
stole mine. Was there a pun intended there?
There's no chill with this guy.
That's how my week was.
No, we can start over.
I mean, it was explosive for me on the toilet yesterday, but
I literally stole that from Scotty. Scotty said it in the pool. I was like, "Oh, is that your material for the day?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna say that. It was a really explosive week. No pun intended."
wow, you would do that,
Fuck, why did I go to analytics?
Look, he's on analytics again.
guy.
I'm not trying to go to analytics.
The clear engineer in you is just seeps through your pores.
Bro, how do you get better if you don't know where you are?
I know. I listen. I understand that, but you just
saying?
tinker.
This is not the fucking post I
You're
wanted
the
to look at.
tinkerer.
Where is
Tinker. You're
Andromeda
like the
Part
tinker.
2? All right, I got a call out.
Oh yeah, he wants to talk to somebody.
Cracking packs.
Cracking pipes.
Cracking packs.
Cracking packs or cracking pipes?
Yeah, that's all he does is he cracks packs.
Of like Pokemon
Like
cards.
Topps baseball cards, football cards, like that kind of shit.
Yeah, we'll tag him in this week's post. He was going back and forth with Scotty on one of the dialogues that he was having.
Yeah, I'll tell you what he said. I'm gonna go through the whole conversation.
Oh, that's what we needed to hear. The whole conversation.
It's quick. It's quick.
We wanted it to be 2 hours, but good.
What's the next UFC fight? 303?
317?
317.
I think so.
All right, let's go.
We started already.
What did he have? We already started.
We did?
Yeah.
You said welcome to episode 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said it was an explosive week, and then you got really upset.
Oh, I thought we were restarting.
Oh, we could start.
Why are we restarting? This is good.
Yeah, it was great content. You want to restart that?
Oh, I mean, no.
I stole his joke. That's
you're a fucking dick. How was my week? Well, it was a pretty explosive week. No pun intended.
I just said that joke.
Fucking dick.
You guys are hilarious.
Friggin' dick.
Uh,
Now we're saying too many F's and
yeah, we're
A's
supposed to go
and S's
15 minutes before we start cursing, and this guy.
Jesus.
We're gonna have to add some filler stuff in the
Well, the
beginning
Lord
of this
save
episode,
us,
folks.
please.
So, anyone do anything fun this week?
Well, it was pretty explosive.
Yeah. Bum bum bum.
Jesus.
While
I
bombs are
spent-
exploding over in Iran, my toilet was being exploded yesterday.
Whoa! Someone had the shits. What did you eat the night before?
Whoa.
I don't even know. That's the worst part. I don't even know what it was. I had Mexican food that day, but I never have issues with it. So like I had taqueria, and I never have issues with it. And then I don't know what like
Taqueria?
yeah
You mean taqueria?
no taqueria.
What? Oh, is that the name of the place? Or is that a style of food? Oh, okay.
Tacoria.
Taqueria.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Taqueria.
Is it a taqueria?
Taqueria.
No, they do like burrito
Taqueria?
bowls. They do burrito bowls. They do tacos. They do quesadillas. They do.
So it's a taqueria.
Wait.
It's the Mexican, or,
It's like a Chipotle,
yeah.
but better.
Oh.
But you don't get to pick. You don't
Don't
pick and
say
choose.
that around this guy.
No.
This guy goes to Chipotle 3 times a week.
I don't go to Chipotle 3 times a week. First and foremost. Second,
Why don't we have a
easy, I get
sponsor?
it.
Second
Why don't we
off,
have a sponsor yet, bro?
like if we look at Chipotle, right? If we look at Chipotle,
Chipotle. I like to say Chipotle.
if we look at Chipotle,
It sucks.
in comparison to
Chipotle
like
sucks.
Moe's or what's the other one that doesn't
Qdoba?
exist anymore? Qdoba.
Well, they
Qdoba
exist in
still
Jersey.
exists.
Okay.
The one near me is trash, though. It's
They
trash.
are trash. That's why they don't exist anymore.
Trash.
Dude, Qdoba was pretty good. Qdoba's pretty good too.
Yeah, it was
The
better
only thing
because
that I
they gave
wish-
you free
here's
queso.
the thing. Here's the thing. We have so many other real Mexican restaurants that you can get food from, why would you choose this trash? What do you even call it? Casual, bloody blah. It's basically fast food wrapped up better.
It's the light version for white people.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Bro, I do like to go to a Mexican restaurant, but if I want to go somewhere that's quick and I want a bowl or burrito, I'll go to Chipotle.
But
Now, the one thing, there's a place near my job, Pancheros, which I really wish Chipotle would do like Pancheros. If you order a burrito from Pancheros, they put it in a bowl and they mix it, and then they put it in the burrito.
Oh, so much better. So much better. You got a bite. Every bite has
100%.
Why doesn't everyone do that?
all the flavors.
Yeah.
Why doesn't everyone do that?
All the what is it? The meat juices?
It's like chopped. It's like
Well,
the chopped salad.
More than just meat juices, though. I mean,
It's like any of those chopped salad places.
Speaking of meat juices, did he?
Fucking God.
Oh, yeah. No, we can talk about that during the Diddy trial because this whole fucking no, we're not. I'm going to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about right now.
We're talking about this week.
No, fuck that. We're talking about that right now. I went back and I was listening to some of our old podcasts, right?
Oh
no.
And we're having a good old time.
Like last week.
No, this is like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, maybe it was 2 weeks ago.
We started talking about the Diddy trial.
Yeah.
And, all right, this week in the Diddy trial, there really hasn't been nothing. It was cut short. Prosecution's almost going to be over. And the one guy got excused because he didn't live in New York anymore. And one of the jurors got sick, so they had to postpone. But
wasn't there that one?
What?
Wasn't there that one juror or something with the fact that they were making faces back and forth, and it was like, was that the one? That wasn't the guy that got excused, was it?
Yeah, that's the guy that got recused, I believe. So
is it recused or excused? I think it's excused, but because recused is something you do to yourself. Like I recuse myself.
Well, he sort of did because he's telling everyone that doesn't live in fucking New York anymore.
Yeah, what an idiot. I don't know why he didn't say that up front. Well, probably because he wanted a front row seat to the Diddy trial.
Well,
I mean, who wouldn't want that?
But, so, I had mentioned that Diddy's mom had some issues with him and Diddy, and how she saves in a jar some of Diddy's juices.
Yes.
Now,
this is nasty.
we're not going to talk about what kind of juices there are. I think everyone gets the premise of said juices. And then would take said juices and mix them in the mac and cheese that gets served at all of these parties. So my question to you two folks, since we didn't talk about it,
oh God,
is retroactively, you're at this party and you find out what's going down. Like, you're eating these mac and cheese and you're fucking that shit up. You're like, this.
How good was
mac and cheese. It might have been slamming. I have no idea. It might have slapped. You might have went back for fucking seconds.
Might have been slamming.
So moral dilemma here. I mean,
man, this is really
it
good.
might have
didn't
slapped,
know.
bro.
You didn't know when you were eating it.
Well, you didn't know, and now you come to find out it's Diddy's nut.
I'm killing somebody. I'm killing somebody.
Mac and cheese.
I'm killing somebody. That's it.
You're departing some people?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not supposed to use that word. Whoops.
Yeah.
I'm removing them from this planet.
Unalive them.
He's gonna unalive them.
Unalive. I'm
He's
unaliving
gonna-
them. Or I'm pulling a scene from National Lampoons, and I'm delivering some eclairs with Moe's special filling.
Oh my.
Got it.
Just, like, to this one person? Just a Diddy? Like, oh, hey, yeah, thanks for that mac and cheese. Here's an eclair.
I mean, he's probably not getting eclairs in
There
jail.
may be some collateral damage.
Bang! Yeah, that's eye for an eye right there.
I mean, he's not getting eclairs in jail. So, I mean, he gets
special. What do
Yeah.
you think he's not getting eclairs in jail, dude?
I don't know.
Dude's worth what?
I don't know.
You can, if you have money, you can buy anything.
But Scott,
in
you didn't
jail.
tell me what you would do if you found out that there was nut in your mac and cheese.
Bro. I mean, that's fucking gross. I don't know. Go home and never come back? Like, what am I supposed to do? I guess, like, tell everybody at the party? Like,
don't eat the mac and cheese!
yeah,
Dude,
did you guys take a look at the fridge?
This is 2 weeks later, though, or 3 weeks later, or whatever it is. It's after the fact.
Well, I mean, I'm not departing people. Like,
no, you're better man than I guess.
One-way ticket to the Grim Reaper.
Yo.
All right. Well,
I mean, I guess it was pretty salty.
wow. What happens if you ate pineapples? It could have been sweet.
Oh, pineapple mac and cheese.
All right, this conversation this has run its course. Let's keep this moving.
All right. So
That's
no one
nasty.
really did anything this week. No. Oh well, you did something. You had dinner plans or breakfast plans. It sounded like.
Oh yeah, how did your dinner go?
No, it was breakfast today. Actually, no. Last night I went
Was
to
it
my
like a
buddy.
chicken
All right, you
wrap?
ready? So last night went to my buddy Sal's place. We had a tomahawk steak.
Oh yeah,
Sliced it up, cooked it on the grill, did whatever. Made this salad, and then I made these watermelon margaritas. And it was like 3/4 of the way through the night. His wife went to hand me her phone to look at something, and in grabbing it, I poured the whole pitcher all over myself. It was really, really good. And it was the second batch, which was better than the first batch.
Nice.
So ended up wasting that. Not the highlight of my evening, but the food was really good. All in all, it was a good time. That was what I did last night. And I saw How to Train Your Dragon on Wednesday night.
See, when you said you were at the movies, I thought you were seeing 28.
I saw 28 days later
28
this
years.
morning, actually. Or 28 years later.
Did you get the movie pass?
I did.
Ah.
After all we talked about, I got the movie pass and I got her the movie pass. So now it's just she's my entourage for now. And then if we ever get together, the three of us go
Yeah.
see one.
And we got F1 tickets for Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
F1 tickets for Wednesday. They're in the 4DX. You know, the
I'm good on
fucking
that.
Scotty wanted to feel the rumble in his nuts.
It's gonna be great, dude. It's gonna be great in 40
Guys,
Yeah.
back to Disney.
Scramble of semen.
Yeah. But bro, what about that chicken wrap story?
All right, so the chicken wrap story. What's this diner? And
What's the diner called? Do we know it?
Broadway Diner. Broadway
where is
Diner
that?
in Summit. Right?
This is high class Jersey over here.
No, you would think, but it was. I mean, it was just bad. So I ordered. I got this like egg. It was an egg with hash browns. So it's kind of like, imagine a sandwich, but it was stacked eggs with hash brown and cheese, and then like they served it with like some strawberries and blueberries, but the strawberries looked like they were like a week and a half old. Farah ordered a honey mustard chicken wrap and some fries or whatever. First off, the ketchup came out with some like Great Value brand ketchup. Not even Great Value. It was like best ketchup on like best ketchup of something, like best restaurant style ketchup. I was like, all right, this is a good start.
Like, bro,
She
you need to upgrade to Heinz.
Yeah, she took
Just
a taste.
refill the
Like,
bottles, bro. Just refill the bottles.
right? I mean, no one's gonna know. Just buy the big one from like Restaurant Depot and just dump it in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she takes a bite out of the French fry. And she's like, "Does this ketchup taste funny? It's kind of like fizzy." And I took a bite. I was like, "All right." I mean, it was like maybe like vinegar, like a little bit too strong on the vinegar. You know, like when you eat something and your tongue kind of like fizzes a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
All right.
tangy, like tangy.
Tangy, yeah. So that happened. Then she starts trying to eat the wrap,
like
and
I'm
like,
tapping the 9-volt battery on my tongue?
Bro,
yeah,
don't-
exactly. Like, you know,
Don't do that motion ever again. Don't
yeah,
do that
tapping the
motion
9-volt
ever
battery on my
tongue. Bro, what are you doing?
this is
I'm
going.
surprised his sick head didn't realize it. Oh my god.
This is where that's going.
No, Diddy.
So then, like, so to go along with what I got, because we shared some of the food, she ordered an order of turkey bacon, and she wanted it extra, like, well done or extra crispy. Comes out like barely cooked, so she sends it back in for them to cook it some more. Then when the girl comes over, she's like, the wrap was, dude, I don't know how you mess up a chicken cutlet, like a honey mustard chicken wrap. How do you mess that up? It was like, must have been like the batch from either last night or earlier today, the chicken cutlets they made, because it was like completely dried out. It was really thin, and it was just tasted like nothing. So then she's,
Oh, Jesus.
so she tried to eat it. She tried to salt it. She was like, all right. She tried to take it apart and eat it more like a salad, like just eat the filling, and she couldn't even do that. So then lady comes back, takes the plate, or whatever, brings, and in between that time, brings out the bacon. Bacon comes out burnt to a crisp, charcoal, like charred. She sits it down. Farrah looks at it. She's like, this looks fucking horrible. She takes a bite. She bites into it. And she literally just, a second later, spits it out. And then, like, the waitress comes back around. You know how when you're somewhere and the person doesn't want to make eye contact, they like walk up and they turn away from you? She did it like 3 times before we finally got her attention. She comes over. Without even saying anything, she knew already that what she delivered was bad. So she just she's like, oh, this is not good. And then she just picked it up and walked away. It was like, you knew it was bad, but you still delivered it and sat on the table. I was like, my food was fine, though. So I lucked out. Normally, I'm the one that has all the issues. But then, like, so what I was going to say before I didn't get
tapped it with the fork. It just crumbled into, like, ashes.
With that, I also got these, like, cinnamon swirl pancakes, which are actually pretty good. They were, out of comparison to everything else, they were good. So I ate one of the pancakes. It was a stack of 3. I ate one there. Farrah had half of one, and then I brought it home. So before we got on this, I went and I made a protein shake, and I go in the fridge to grab the milk out, and then the container with the pancake in it falls out the fridge, opens up, and both of them go face down on the floor in the kitchen. I'm like, great, that's going in the garbage now. So the one thing that was left over that was good for the meal is now in the fridge. So that's my meal in a nutshell.
So, and wind a little bit further, right? You said that you had some stomach issues. Now, you and Farrah, your girlfriend, have been dating for a little bit of time. Is this the first time that you? No. Okay, got it.
There was like, it was like 8 months ago, roughly. We went to this like this place has like a raw bar, and she likes oysters. She tried to kill me with some fucking oysters. I ate the oysters. I was fighting for my life on her toilet. And then I left, drove home, and then continued to fight for my life through the whole night. 5 trips to the bathroom. Thought I was the end of my life. I thought it was a goner. Because it couldn't stop. I was like up, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally survived. That happened one other time. So I don't eat oysters anymore. Lesson learnlearned, I'm good.
Lesson learned. You might not want to eat shellfish in general.
I'm good with lobster. I'm good with sushi. I'm good with everything else. But
not oysters.
Oysters, I'm good. No thanks.
Maybe it was their oysters.
Yeah.
I like oysters.
Possible.
Oysters are good.
What'd you do this week, Scotty?
What did I do this week? I was off for a couple days, but I worked both of those days. So that was fun.
That's not good.
We had some problems at work, and I was hoping to catch up on some clips, but I couldn't do that because I was busy doing work. So there was that. Also, had a lot of fun interacting with some of our fans online. So I have to do a little call out for Kraken Packs. So for our video about Andromeda, the second part, so 3-part series, the hook was, so we should, Mohammed, you said this, so we should all be speeding everywhere we go all of the time. Right? And the idea is that the faster you go, the shorter your lifespan is relative to everyone else going at slower speeds, right?
Longer your lifespan.
This guy cracking packs was like, I commonly crack 3 digits behind the wheel. I said, you're going to have a long life. Or maybe not. He said, I never drive faster than my guardian angel can fly. I was dead, bro. I was dead. So, Kraken Packs, thanks for interacting with us on TikTok, and
keep it coming.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Keep it coming. I did shit this week.
What did you do?
Yeah, I did nothing. I really did nothing.
Nice. Sounds good. I see you played a lot of Call of Duty this week.
Played a little bit. Played a little bit. Played a little bit. I got on a couple times and been playing ranked play a little bit. I really don't like to play. I love to play, but
you've been playing ranked?
Yeah,
that's the only thing I like to play.
Well, no. I'm playing ranked Warzone.
Oh yeah, I don't like that.
People are too try hard.
Well, I have a problem. The problem is that
we can't play. Our styles are vastly different.
Scotty is a very slow.
Oh, that's me.
Player.
Oh,
that's
he
me.
likes to depart himself.
No, I don't.
He likes self-departation.
No.
No, he's engaging. He's engaging, and then he dies.
Rapid engagement without thought.
So no, that's not it at all. So I'm very much in the very beginning. We land, we get a loadout real quick. As soon as we get a loadout, we hit the closest. We also have a UAV and grab a.
And stop looting.
No, you loot on the way, but it just you take a long time to loot. It's like I hit a thing and I go, hit a thing and I go.
Decisions have to be made. Do
No,
I pick
that's
up
what
more
you're
ammo, or do I pick up more body armor? Do I pick up this SMG?
Oh well, they did a lot of help for you. You don't have to do that.
Oh.
You're only allowed to carry 6 plates and certain ammo, and that's it. You can't.
Oh, you can't do extra anymore?
No more extra shit.
Oh.
No more picking and dropping. It's like you get.
I haven't played in like a year, so.
So, and then grab a bounty and then just go hunting, right? But you're working your way into the center of the circle, and then it gets to a point where I slow down. When we're like 5 or 6 more circles left, it's already small. I like to stay on the outside of the circle and work my way in, unless we know where center circle is and sort of already get in range there. I don't like to sit in a fucking corner. I have ADHD, man. I can't sit in a fucking corner and just fucking just sit there and look at the wall. I can't.
It's too fast paced to be doing that. Like that game in itself is too fast paced to be like camping. I fucking hate
Warzone. You don't. It's not that fast paced.
Oh, it is fast paced.
Bro, listen. This guy is trash.
It's more fast paced than like PUBG.
I was ranked
6v6. Dude is trash, right? But in
6v6.
Warzone, you know,
6v6.
Yeah, that's
He's
the
normal
multiplayer.
Deathmatch.
Normal
First and
multiplayer.
foremost, he also likes
Trash.
to fucking play regular team deathmatch and not hardcore team deathmatch, where I don't want to sit and shoot somebody in the face 7 times for them to die.
I don't do that. Oh yeah, well no, I mean it takes that long to kill them. Yeah,
yeah,
but I don't just sit there and do nothing and wait for them to come by and shoot them.
Anyway,
yeah, I really didn't do anything. Because on Juneteenth, we were supposed to do something that we ended up just hanging out at the house. So I did some housework, and then I started playing some Call of Duty, and that was.
We did something else on Juneteenth.
Oh yeah, well we did that too. But,
did you see that?
28 years later.
We saw 28 years later. So before we get into 28 years later, you went to the movies on Wednesday.
Yeah.
How was that?
I saw How to Train Your Dragon. It's the live action version, kind of like how we just saw Lilo and Stitch, the live action version. It was actually pretty good. It was an enjoyable movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Nice.
Did you watch the cartoon version?
If I did, it was a long time ago, and I don't really remember most of it. But I was told by Farah that they literally did it exactly like that original movie, and she said that it was the best of the live action one she's seen so far in any of the movies, the best live action one of the adaptations from movies that were cartoons first and now like live actions. I thought it was great. I mean, that dragon, Shadow or Smoke or whatever the hell his name was pretty awesome. Huh?
Isn't it Toothless?
Yeah, that one. Toothless. He was like a different type. I think it was a different type of was it like I have to look it up. There was a classification of the dragon, I think was like
maybe.
Yeah, I have to look that up.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
yeah, the type of dragon it is.
Yeah.
Not the name of the dragon.
Yeah, I didn't see that movie, but I saw the animated version. But that's what Disney does. Bro, they take the same script, they maybe change it a little bit, like, oh hey, we can't actually do this in live action because it'll look like crap or whatever, or oh hey, let's just fix minor tweaks or whatever, and they just put the same freaking content out with live action actors. Imagine the production costs.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of CGI, I guess, and then just people being able to act with green screens. Yeah. And it was a Night Fury was the type of thing. So I don't know where I got Shadow or whatever I came up.
Look how much money they lost from Snow White.
Yeah, wasn't that because of?
I'm not talking about that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm just talking about that.
That was for other reasons, I thought. Because Snow White wasn't white.
What?
Why aren't you talking about it?
No, I'm not talking about that. You can talk about it. I'll comment on your commentary.
I'm confused. I don't know what the story is here.
Snow White?
Yeah.
You don't know the Snow White story?
No.
Oh. Well, I mean, Snow White, like the Wicked Witch, not the Wicked Witch.
No,
it's
not
like
that story.
Wicked
like
Queen.
why
The Seven Dwarves, the Sleepy, Dopey.
No, the actress.
Angry. What about the actress?
Why don't you want to talk about it?
Muhammad, what about the actress?
Well, I don't know. What about the actress?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay.
Wasn't
She not white?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. She looks like she's She looks like she's Indian, I think, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look up.
I don't know
Indian
what she
or
is.
Hispanic.
I just know that she had some very choice words to say about Disney, I believe, or about certain things that and the movie. Like she was criticizing everything, and like that didn't go well.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard
During the press run.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
I heard there was a lot of hate. I also heard like the Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh review of Snow White, and they just like to murder everything. And so that's really all I know, though. I didn't hear much about it because I was like, I'm not going to. Like, we don't. Bring
She's
our
from
girls to the
Cliff.
movies.
She's from Clifton, New Jersey, though. So Rachel Ziegler or Zegler, whatever her
Oh.
name is.
But I do know it came out on Disney Plus pretty quick. I'm pretty sure it's out on Disney
Yeah.
Plus.
Oh yeah. It wasn't a long run
No.
in theaters.
No. But like they turned it in. I heard they turned it into some socialist thing. Like, so you know, in the cartoon version, and I only know so much about the cartoon version because my daughters had like a whole kick on this like a few months ago. There was some, you know, like the huntsman is sent out to go like get her heart and bring it back, but he brought a pig heart back and blah blah blah, and then there was some you know, like the witch, she turns into like a ugly witch, gives her an apple, she goes to sleep, whatever, and then she gets chased off by the dwarves, right? Apparently in the movie, like they added a character, which is this like robber dude, like he's like Robin Hood, but like not really Robin Hood.
Okay.
That like comes in and like tries to help her and save her, but then and that's like Prince Charming. And then like but she's like, yeah, I'm not really into you kind of thing, like thanks for saving me. And then she like rallies up the townsfolk to overthrow the queen. Like this is some like democratic overthrow of royalty, right? Like
Got it.
so they kind of made it like a political statement
Got it.
but that's look, this is the Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh version of the review. I have no idea. I haven't watched the movie, so don't quote me on any of this, but that's the way they made it seem.
Yeah, I just heard that she was very, very critical and had a lot of criticism on the movie, and that was on like the press run of the movie, where you,
Well,
like
that's not
even
good.
if you should keep your thoughts to.
Is
Yeah,
that
you
like
don't
a
bash
breach of
the movie
contract?
before it even comes out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there was.
I'm surprised Disney doesn't have clauses in the contract for that kind of crap.
Oh, I mean,
Wasn't
she wasn't gonna make anything on that
No.
anyway. After
wasn't that something similar to like Captain Marvel? How what's her name?
also Disney.
What's her name though? The main character from Captain Marvel.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Damn.
I'm not gonna.
Anyway, she was bashing it. She was talking a bunch of trash or whatever. Anyway, but I think there was a bunch of backlash with the Disney one because of like some of the things, like I said, the fact that they cast Snow White as a person of color. Then the fact that they're saying Gal Gadot can't act and she was evil queen, and then the fact that they cast Peter Dinklage because he's a dwarf.
Is that the right word?
That's what it says on here. Dwarfism. He suffers actors with dwarfism.
Got it.
It's an actual term. I mean, dwarfism is.
I know
an actual
it's a term. I just didn't know if little person was better or like.
So wait, is it?
I know the M word is off the table. They don't like the M word anymore.
Are they not? Wait, I thought this is like a routine thing.
Well, I think what it says, Peter Dinklage criticized the intent to cast actors with dwarfism as stereotyped roles, leading to the film instead using CGI for dwarf characters. So they didn't actually use Peter Dinklage.
Oh, they didn't.
He criticized the fact that
I see.
they didn't do that. And instead, they used CGI for those characters when they could have cast, people that have dwarfism to give them
the Oompa Loompas. Like,
yeah, I mean, sure, like people with achondroplasia. I did a research paper on that one time. I mean, know all about it.
Look, I mean, my stance is, if it's a good freaking movie, and as long as you're not being like racist or whatever, like, just give me a good freaking movie, all right? Like, but it wasn't even a good movie. I didn't.
That's
watch
the other
it,
criticism.
I didn't watch it because I heard it was a bad movie. You know what I mean? So
to the point you just made before, Scotty, the other criticism where people are saying that Disney is just basically retreading their old ground with all the other movies they had. Like, they're just taking every other previous movie and then redoing it or adding some kind of twist to it or just remaking the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, but they made it bad. They made it worse than it was before.
Well, they were trying to...
Don't mess with the original.
They were trying to repackage it, right? So, like, they were trying to sit there.
This reminds me of the Studio episode where they talked about Ice Cube being Kool-Aid Man, and they were like, wait, if Ice Cube is the Kool-Aid Man, his wife has to be a black woman, and then his kid can't be an Asian black girl. Like, wait, the whole cast has to be black. Oh, now it's black people drink Kool-Aid.
So there's I just oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just saw funny. Well, on Reddit, someone posted something I thought was funny. Is that people on both sides of the political divide hate the movie for political reasons, and movie reviewers hate the movie because it's an awful movie, and there's a broad bipartisan agreement that it's just a terrible movie. And then someone said, Disney bringing people together.
Disney will solve our differences.
There you go.
So, 28 years later.
Oh yeah.
I watched 28 Days Later and then 28 Weeks Later the night before. I just wanted to get my head in that space, but I'll take the back seat. I want to know what you guys thought.
Go ahead, Mohammed.
All right. Well, 28 Days Later, obviously, I saw it a long time ago. I can't really remember if I did see 28 Weeks Later. I feel like I did, but I didn't remember, and I didn't get a chance to rewatch any of it beforehand. But
You're not
going
missing
into...
Huh? It was good.
You're not missing a lot.
That's what I heard.
Right.
Like, also, because wasn't it a different producer or different writer or somebody different from the first movie did the second movie?
Differences.
And then now the third movie was done again by the person who did the first movie.
Original,
So if we're going to just jump ahead to 28 weeks later, or 28 years later, started off great. It was pretty awesome. Then, obviously, the middle of the movie, like more middle towards the end, it was kind of like, there was just some things that just like, all right, suspend disbelief, it's a movie, whatever. Then, like, spoiler alert,
Oh, yeah, there's going to be spoiler alerts here, so... sorry.
So, like, the fact that... So first off, the journey getting to the doctor, right? I skipped through a whole bunch of shit because like the stuff in there didn't really need to. I mean, it's just a build up for the movie of, his first, hunt, if you want to call it or whatever, and they go out and they come back and then he's questioning everything because his dad's not really giving him answers to stuff, and it's kind of like, what's going on. Then he sees that his dad is not really like the role model that he expected him or wanted him to be. Then now he sees, his mom's sick, so he's trying to save his mom, so he takes her out there. First off, there's no way in hell that he's making it as far as he made it with her like that. Like, I'm sorry.
No.
If he went out there with his dad, and then, like, they almost got killed that fast, and, like, his mom's not, like, being quiet, and she's not being stealthy, and she's not moving fast. Nope. So, like, it just, fine. We'll say that they somehow made it. He killed the big fat guy. Well, no, she killed the big fat guy. Like the crawler or the slimy one.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Which at first, like, when that clip happened, I'm like, when it first showed, I'm like, did she do that? Farrah knew right away. She was like, instantly, she's like, oh yeah, the mom did it. I was like, what? And then they flashed back. Yeah, they flashed back to the mom doing it. I was like, oh shit, all right, so she did do it. But then, like, that ties into, okay, now he finally he gets to this doctor after the doctor saves him from the big crazy alpha. Then the doctor's like, okay, I'm going to trank you, but you somehow don't get fully tranked, and then now I'm going to trank and kill your mom, and then you're going to pick where you're going to put your mom's skull on this pile of skulls of all the people that have died. It just, I don't know. That's just like cruel and unusual punishment. I mean, I get the idea of him making the attempt to save her, and like, obviously, they both love each other, and accepting, and the memoriam morti or memoriam memori, whatever the guy was saying, memoriam memori, the Latin for like, remember death or remember life or remember love or something like that.
Remember death.
We all die or something.
Yeah, or something along those lines.
So remember, we must die.
Yeah, like so that was. I mean, I get the symbolism there with him being there for her. He tried all he could. The doctor was like, "Listen, can't save her. So at least now, you tried. You know that she's where she's at. She knew she's okay with it. You're okay with it, even though he was drugged up. So like, let's drug the kid and then be like, okay, while you're drugged up, I'm gonna kill your mom. You now have this baby that's from a mutant, or that's from like a mutant infected person.
Bro, it was wild.
That
scene was wild.
Whole scene.
Then like, okay, he somehow makes it all the way back to the camp with the baby in a little crate, like whatever carrying cart thing.
Yep.
The doctor walked him a certain amount of ways back, and then he walked the rest.
Yeah, and they skip through and they don't show it. But then like, a point that Farah made was like, the dad obviously didn't give a shit, because if he did, he would have went out after chasing after them to try and find where his son went into like the open mainland or whatever it was. But he didn't until after the kid comes back and leaves him that note and is like, "Hey, screw you, I'm not coming back." And then he's like,
"I'm gonna get you."
Yeah,
but I can't because the tide.
Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna get you, but oh no, I'm gonna be washed away with the tide.
And then 28 days later, he still hasn't gone out there.
Then meeting up. I mean, I like how they wrapped it up. Obviously, there's got to be another one, because just the way it ends off.
Yeah.
I read something because I was trying to see if what's his name from the first one,
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy. Yeah. I wanted to see if he was making a cameo in this, because everyone was like, he's a zombie in one of these. That wasn't true. He wasn't a zombie, and they're planning on bringing him back in another movie. It sounds like.
That's hot. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how true that is, what I read, but yeah, it sounds like they're trying to make this out to be like its own little universe, sort of.
Okay. Well, the whole thing too was they were trying to highlight the changes in the different iterations of those, infected.
Oh yeah,
rage people, whatever you want to call them.
I thought that was cool. The different infected.
Yeah.
The alpha was sick, bro. That one, the first one. Oh.
Yo, that was like, Terminator, like Terminator running across the water channel. Like, what the hell?
God.
Yeah, the T2000.
He was running quick.
Yeah,
he was running quick. T3000.
T3000.
T1000.
No, I thought it was the T.
Yeah, he's T1000.
I thought it was the T2000 with the silver, the metal.
I don't know.
Where he was running after the cop car.
I don't know.
I think it was the T1000 with the metal blade.
Maybe. So, I thought this was. What is your overall?
I give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. I thought this was beautifully done. I thought, from a visual perspective, they did a really, really good job. I think they did a good job from tying in, like, the horror of the outside world and these infected, and like how people have adapted to like their everyday normal life, right? I also thought it was really interesting to see. It was almost like if one of us had a conversation with a younger Amish person, right? Like, they have no idea what a phone is and all of those things. So like, it was
when he talked to the Swedish guy.
Yeah. Just the difference.
Why does her face look like that?
Did she eat some shellfish? She have an allergic reaction.
Yeah, I have somebody on my island that eats shellfish and got like that. But I think that, like, visual perspective, I thought it was very. They do a really, really good job. It's very artsy. I think the sound and visuals, I would give like a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
I think the story, when you talk to people about horror movies, they always want to say. I told Scotty this. They always say that you could tie it back to mother trauma, right?
Oh.
Where there's mother trauma tied into that. And I don't really necessarily agree or disagree with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But they also say zombie movies is based on immigrants, which I laughed at. And I didn't think it had any relevance, but that's just me. But
we're being invaded.
There was mother trauma here, right? And just grief. And an understanding on, like, sometimes, for instance, a lot of the things that Lily and I went through, and Lily went through as a child, like, I try to shield her from, and they were shielding him from a lot of these things, right? And what his mom was happening to his mom, and they just try to, like, push through life, and instead of ripping the Band-Aid off and like really just being upfront with them,
Try to protect him.
they try to protect him, which necessarily isn't the best way, right?
Just backfires.
Yeah. And I thought I know what you were saying from a perspective of, like, well, you have to suspend disbelief because, like, if the father and the son went out and they almost fucking died, how's he bringing the mom out into this world? And, like, they're going to be able to work, like, live.
The Swedish guy comes into play, of course, like Scotty said.
Yeah. The Swedish guy does come into play, but this was
that's not for a while, though.
This was
but also, I mean, they did just take out, like, a whole pack of zombies.
They did.
Like, the alpha and the pack that was, like, closest to that area. So, I mean, okay, like, maybe it's clear right now, know.
Okay.
Fair. I didn't even think about that. So, but like, this was a journey to say goodbye. And
which is sad.
It's very sad, but not everyone gets to do that. And it ties into, we only have a very short period of time on this world, and let's make the best of it. And when you're with your loved ones, you don't necessarily know the next time you're going to be able to spend a Father's Day, right? Like, Father's Day isn't promised to all of your family members next year. You don't know when the last time you're going to celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Thanksgiving, whatever it is, right? Like, this could be the last time you say goodbye to that person. And when you look at things from that perspective and just seeing this in cinematic form, I thought was beautifully done. And just from what I saw.
Bro, you have way too much time on your hands. You think the deepest crap about, like, I mean, I saw a freaking movie for 2 hours and I thought it was good. Like, you're, like, deep into this, like,
okay.
Oh,
I get what he's saying.
So when you go look at a picture, right? When you go look at art on the wall, and you're trying to come up with a perception of what you see art on the wall, or when I listen to a rap lyric and I try to decipher the meaning of the rap lyric, you just okay, all right, it is what it is.
I don't put thought into really any of that kind of crap.
I know you put a lot of thought into numbers on analytics.
Numbers, analytics, absolutely. I put a lot of thought into myself. I'm not trying to learn a lesson from a movie. I'm trying to be entertained.
No, he's not. It's not saying learn a lesson.
But it is entertainment, and it's understanding or looking at it from what
sounds
the
like
artist.
This sounds like this guy didn't get the extra freaking Father's Day with his dad or something, and he wanted to put it into a movie. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that the mother knew that she was dying, and there was nothing that they can do to save her.
Maybe it was Mother's Day. I'm sorry.
And the son didn't know that they were dying. And they were going on an adventure that was going to stop. He was looking for a cure. She was looking for an end.
All right, here's my deep thought about this movie. This movie is about growing up, okay? We got this 12-year-old his dad is bringing him out for the first time, and he's being exposed to all these things in the world and all of this, and then he's exposed to death, you know, in his family and kind of like adult things, right? And then he turns into an adult himself and lives by himself in the wild. That's what I got. That's my deep thought. I don't know how you got all that other stuff. That's crazy.
I mean, I get it because, like,
I can get both.
That's kind of the symbolism of, like, the whole being out there with his mom, and then her saying that, like, you know, she didn't know how to tell him because of whatever was going on. And what Wiz is saying is, like, not a lot of people have the opportunity to do that. So he's saying he understands the reason why they wrote the film that way, to show that specific interaction, because it highlights that a lot of people that don't, you know, necessarily get that. Plus, not the idea of not knowing what's guaranteed, or like, okay, you don't have, tomorrow's not guaranteed. We might all die in our sleep tonight, or we might get bombed by Iran. You know, who knows? But
do we know? My question is, do you know that was the message that the guy was trying to send?
Art's perception.
Yeah,
so
perception.
That's what I perceived by watching the movie.
All right, so we don't know that they filmed it that way, specific for that message. You don't know.
Saying that.
Well,
that's just a message you received.
I could listen to the lyrics of a song, "Pour some sugar on me," and I could just be like, "Oh, he's talking about fucking sugar." No, he's talking about fucking cocaine. Do I know that he's talking about cocaine? No, I don't know for certain he's talking about cocaine.
Yeah, well, I
that's
mean,
what he's talking about.
Then he had an interview and was like, "Oh yeah, he's talking about cocaine."
Okay, well maybe there will be an interview talking about the art and what that meant for them. But
yeah, no, but I guess you can't make the comment. My point is, you can't make the comment that, "Oh, I get why they made it this way because it sent this message," when you don't know that was the message of the movie.
A lot of times artists have a message that they want to deliver, but it's it's up to perception on what it means to the audience. So what happens if there's a lot of people in the audience that feel the same way that I do, or that took away that same message? Like, listen, like when I go and I take time.
I'm not saying you can't take the message that you got from it. What I'm saying is, I don't think you can make statements like, "I understand why he made it this way so that he could send this message."
I don't think I said that.
Well, yeah, you kind of did.
I don't think I made a definitive statement.
Well, maybe you didn't, but Mohammed paraphrased what you said, and then I kind of took that as what you said. So maybe I'm wrong.
But so when I look at a movie, I go, and if I'm taking time out of my day and looking at a movie, I'm looking at like what this means, right? Like Final Destination, right? Like, sure, like that's a little bit different of a story, right? Like, it's just that to me fits in a category of, we're going to make death scenes and we're going to bring it back to a circle, and it's going to be a point, right? But when I look at
there's a deeper thought.
Maybe I didn't get the deeper thought.
Yeah, be aware of your surroundings.
Sure.
That's not a deeper thought. That's like a surface level thought.
Yeah, it's very surface thought there.
Yeah. Make sure the train doesn't fall off the track. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Don't walk by train tracks. Don't live by train tracks.
No, I listen, that's what I took from it. Like, I look at things sometimes from a little deeper level, and that's what I do. I'm going to give it a 9 out of a 10. I really enjoyed it. It was a fun watch. It was like, it was an adventure. Like, that's the way I look at it. It was like Hobbit, but not.
Yeah, I don't know. Definitely not. I would not relate that to The Hobbit. But.
Sure, Hobbit, they went on an adventure. These people went on an adventure. Yeah. They saw an infected give birth to a normal baby.
Yeah, it's
they
an
saw
adventure
an alpha.
thriller.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you for reminding me that.
Thriller adventure.
The normal baby?
Yeah, so like that has to tie into somehow into the next iteration, and then it kind of gives some like Last of Us vibes of like a little bit with how Ellie was immune to the stuff because her mom kind of got infected. So now this.
Oh, I thought that also. I was like,
did you, Mr. No Thought?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And in the movie, I didn't spend extra time on thinking about this. I was like, wait, what if this one is is immune.
You act like it took me a long time to come to these
That's
realizations.
a deep ass thought for it to be
I
like,
don't like it. All right, so me looking at it, like coming out of the movie theater, driving home, I
was
think
listening to music.
I was going to talk to somebody about it, but I would be talking to you about it, and we don't talk about this shit because we save it for now.
Save it for you.
For
Save it
you,
The viewers.
for you viewers, just for you, raw, unfiltered. I don't listen to movies or watch movies for anything but whatever's on the screen. I take away nothing. But
I mean, I'll be brief because we've talked about this a lot already. But I thought it was pretty good. I think it was definitely better than 28 Weeks Later. It wasn't as good as the original. I mean, unless we have conversations about production quality, because production quality in the original was poor, but also it was made in 2002 or something like that. So like,
it also didn't have the budget at all.
well,
I don't.
yeah, no, it didn't.
It was
But-
crazy.
I won't spoil this last
Oh,
part.
I thought you were gonna spoil it. That movie's in
Like,
2002, bro.
we
You're not
spoiled
spoiling
we
nothing.
spoiled most of this movie already. But there's a little surprise at the end for everybody who made it this far into the spoiler alert. Of them guys decked out.
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
This is
Yo,
watching.
they need to bring they need their own movie. That'd be great.
I mean, I would assume that that's going to be the next. Like,
But
there's
I love how that tied into the beginning.
Yep, the priest in the church.
Yep.
That's Jimmy.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's Jimmy.
that's
But like,
Jimmy.
there is no reason why you do that if you're not
Oh, yeah.
planning on making something.
Yeah, I mean, I think they
else.
just do that just because. Why not?
Sure.
I mean, but look, you can do that and still it play to somewhere else. Like, oh hey, like they kind of had this whole theme throughout the movie of like there are other people out there.
Yeah.
Right? There are other
Villages.
groups of people out there. There are other towns, villages. I haven't been there. We don't really associate with those people, blah de blah. Right? So like this could just be like, oh, let's throw some fun crap, because it seems like this is a fun guy. The guy who produced, directed, whatever, wrote this movie, and let's throw some fun out there to like as a teaser, like, oh yep, there's other groups out there, you know what I mean? And like they just do like a little cameo at the end, like they did here, right? You know, and that's just a recurring theme. So you can do that without fully being like, yep, these guys are gonna have their own movie.
I don't know.
Yeah.
With how
But they should
creat-
have their own movie.
with how creative and crazy and just like over
Oh,
the
yeah.
top and outrageous that was, they gotta have something
Yeah, I
that
know.
highlights
I
those,
know,
just that group.
I know. They have to.
So Stick, Gross Wiener. How do we feel about Gross
I
Wiener?
don't remember that one.
Really?
You don't remember Gross Wiener, bro?
No.
So Grosswiener was the golfer that had the what was it, Grosswiener's theory, or what was he? What did he say? Grosswiener's
I forget what.
Grosswiener's law.
Grosswiener's law.
Grosswiener's
Oh,
law.
that's
Basically that, and what's great, what I thought was great about the episode was how what the hell is his name? The kid? Santi? How Santi
Santi.
basically, in order to convince his mom, spoiler alert, obviously, in order to convince his mom to go on it, he basically embodies the theory or the law that what's Owen Wilson's name in the show? Stick?
Price.
Price.
So, yeah,
Price
so
is always right.
he basically embodies the story that Price told him and like paraphrases it to his mom to basically convince her, like, hey, you don't think about what you did because it's in the past. Only thing you think about is now, and the only thing you can focus on and you can control is what you do now, which is take the swing, take the leap of faith. Almost, that was like what I took away from that was like, make the leap of faith. You're scared, you've been holding on to whatever it is, like whatever happened, and I thought that was a really great scene from that episode, and it
Yeah,
tied into Grosswiener's law or whatever.
I agree. I really appreciate these kind of shows that work on. I hate the fucking word. I really do. I do. I hate this word.
They do the work with a capital W.
Well, sure that, but trauma, right? I hate the word trauma. I really do. I think everyone in this world
life
has trauma. whether it's a dad that doesn't like them, or whether it's I grew up and I got stabbed when I was a kid and I got shot, blah 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 blah. Like everyone has a sort of trauma that they're trying to work through and overcome, and I feel like you have a bunch of individuals that are going through life changes, and they're all learning from each other, which just ties into community. So I think it's a great show, and I think I like the premise, and I think it's funny, and there's lessons. God forbid there's lessons when I watch a show or a movie, but I think there's lessons, and
You're going too deep with this.
in shows there are generally lessons.
not movies.
I mean, I didn't think about lessons from 28 years later. I thought it was just freaking entertaining. I mean,
but listen, man, like I don't know. I enjoy the show, Scott. Good recommendation. What is your thoughts on Gross Wiener?
Yeah.
I can't talk about Stick right now because I don't remember what episode 2 was because I'm on like 6. So
Wait, I thought
Episode
I thought
2.
You, I thought you only watched 2 episodes of Stick.
no, Stick. I'm up to like 6 or 5. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Got it.
So recap on episode 2 was basically he goes through the whole process. He gets the money, ends up getting arrested because he has parking tickets. The mom calls him up. She's like, I'm not doing this because you're a criminal, whatever. Goes through driving basically gets his buddy Puss Boy, that's his nickname, to let him use the RV, and then basically convinces him to come out with him to see the kid golf, and then he sees the kid golf, and he's kind of like, wow, okay, this guy's got something, and then gets arrested because of the parking tickets. After convincing them about doing it, then he gets arrested because of the parking tickets. Then he has to go and convince them to like actually do it again.
Yeah.
So that's the premise of that episode.
Yeah.
And they're kind of short. They're like 30-minute
good.
episodes.
It's a good show.
Apple-
Duster, though.
Okay.
Did you have more to say?
No, I was just gonna plug in Apple TV Smoke started. So if anyone wants to watch that, I haven't started it. I might start it, but I may.
You got to see it because it's like Blackbird.
I didn't say it was like Blackbird.
Or
It was
made
the
by the
same
same people.
same people and some actors. It was a really good show, so I'm gonna give it a shot. Whatever. Go ahead. Meh.
Duster. I'm also like 6 episodes in on Duster.
Okay.
But I want to watch more and more and more. I want to keep watching. And I'm going to be really sad when this season is over because it's so good and I want more.
Okay.
More.
Hopefully another
words.
season
More
comes out.
Duster.
A lot of words. So Scotty's all the way up into episode 6. Muhammad, do you want to give a recap of things that you saw up until this point?
So the last thing
Oh wait,
I
is
saw,
this glasses?
We can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm
this-
sorry. The last
this
thing I
glasses?
saw was, if I'm remembering correctly, there was the bar scene, right, where he starts cooperating with the FBI agent. She digs deep. She goes to the insane asylum. She finds that the guy that was the FBI agent previously, she sees that he's a little bit off his rocker, and then she gets some information from him, not really much. Then
Was that episode 2?
I think it was either episode 2 or episode 3.
I think that was episode 3. Episode 2, I think, was glasses.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Totally skipped over that.
Yep.
Episode 2 was glasses, and that is where the police officer that saw Duster
glasses.
talking with the FBI agent, basically, he comes back and tries to blackmail him about it, and Duster goes to Glasses, who's like involved in some other crime ring or whatever, and tells him to deal with it. So then he has to infiltrate the Elvis mansion or whatever and take the blue suede shoes. So he convinces this girl to go hit on the Elvis's manager to be able to get in and get the shoes. He gets the shoes. While that's happening, Glasses goes and is trying to have a conversation with the police officer who turns out to be a pedo, and some other questionable things, and shows him the videos or like the tape, which I guess there's video on it, but it's also, or no, it's a tin with pictures in it. Shows him that, tries to basically say, hey, leave him alone or else whatever's going to happen. And then he pulls a gun. So they shoot him, but he doesn't end up dying, and then he gets a final shot off and he kills Glass's twin brother, who I guess I didn't know that it was his brother, and I don't think they really knew it was his brother. And then
they said it in the show.
Oh well, I don't think too deeply apparently. Not like
you don't have to think when they tell you something.
So he gets
I mean, how many words are in one show? Like one episode. Jesus.
His brother gets shot. Glass's brother gets shot while they're making their way back from. So while Duster's making his way back from the mansion, he goes to meet him at the bowling alley. Ends up getting into a fight with Glasses because Glasses says the price has gone up because his brother died, which wasn't part of the original agreement. And in the process, he gives him the shoes, and he's not sure what's going to happen. Glasses has the gun on him, so he throws a bowling ball, smacks the gun out of his hand. They get into a tussle. They make it down the alley. They're fighting for the gun. And then the resetting machine just crushes his fucking head.
Bro.
Yeah,
those two scenes, the whatever that church or whatever
the barnyard or the barnyard,
yeah, barnyard,
the barnyard and the pool, the bowling alley.
Bowling alley.
Yeah.
Those two scenes were fun
Fireworks.
scenes to watch. Yeah. It was really, really good. I mean, listen.
Then,
go ahead.
Nope.
I'm a little upset because Glass's actor, I really like him.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah,
I do too.
And I was hoping to get more from him, but it just gives you that whole Game of Thrones feeling where no character is too good to die.
Yeah.
So I watched the first half of the show of that episode, and then I waited till the next night to watch the other half. So I spent all day like, yeah, I'm excited about this new character, Glasses. and then I get to the next day and I'm like, you guys, what the?
That's fucking great.
That sucks.
So episode,
but I mean, look, just wait until you get 3, 4, 5, and 6.
I mean, listen, like if you like a show based in the 70s that is like Getaway Driver, FBI crime, all
Fast
sort
paced.
of that, like this is a great show to watch. And the actors are good actors. It's they definitely do a good job about bringing it back to that time frame and that day in the life. It's based in Arizona. That isn't a it's Arizona isn't what Arizona is today, right?
Phoenix,
so
right? Phoenix?
I believe
Phoenix, but like it's not even built up Phoenix, right? So like it's it's Phoenix before what Phoenix is.
This is
now.
Wild West Phoenix.
Yeah. So, oh my God, I'm a little bit ahead of you guys, and like
So you're almost done
my
with the season.
Goodness gracious!
You're almost done with the season.
Wait, what?
If I'm at 6, where are you at?
I'm at 6.
Oh, okay. So you're not a little ahead of me.
Sorry,
but yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yeah. I'm. When did they get a call? When was it? Episode 3 when there was a call to somebody in Washington D.C.
That was after Nina talked to the
crazy guy,
wife of Agent Breen.
So it's episode 4. It's probably episode 4.
I think she talked to him in episode 2.
No, she talked to Breen in
episode 3. Yeah.
So episode 4.
No. Well, yeah. There's
at the very end of your episode, was there
a
scene where somebody was on the phone in Washington D.C.?
Yeah,
there was. That character is in later episodes, and I really want to know how this ties in. I'm.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! And now with the other character, where he's a fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
He's a scumbag. Like the whole time, you sort of are getting the feeling that this guy's a fucking piece of shit. And now it just proves it, and I'm like, all right. I need the fucking laces to be tied. I need all the stories.
When you say this guy, are you talking about Saxton?
No. No.
You're talking about the other guy.
I'm not saying anything for you, my man. I'm gonna let you get there. I'm gonna let you get there.
What I've gotten up to so far was that the bar scene, because the next episode was Wasn't that with the bar scene when he's
No,
driving around?
I'll tell you who I'm talking about. The FBI agent that keeps trying to stop.
Oh, I knew that. I mean, I could tell that already because it was
he's
pretty
a
clear
douche.
that like
But-
he's
but-
got
He's a
something.
douche.
But he's a douche, yes. But there are some things that are open later in the later in the series that sort of like, oh, you're a fucking scumbag, dude. And like, I need things to fucking storylines to finish, or like they need to meet so I understand where the story is going.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, I can make guesses, but yeah,
Yeah.
Duster's a
enough.
good one. Duster is a good one. I guess that's all the entertainment.
Yeah. So, Trump dropping bombs on Iran. Oh my God.
Wow, you seem really enthusiastic about that.
Oh my God. What
sad day.
What is going on? Is it a sad day, Muhammad? Or did you like this?
I mean, I don't know how I feel about it, honestly.
Really?
I think so. There's some competing theories are that the only reason why he did what he did is because he knows that they don't have nuclear weapons and that they won't strike back, or they can't strike back in the same way that like having nuclear weapons would do something. But there's all like, I don't know, there's so many things they're saying, like, you know, they were cooperating, they were allowing inspections, they were doing everything, there was peace talks in the way, and then all of a sudden it's like that all just disappears and now boom, bombs.
Well, I mean, I
So-
think it was, dude, maybe this was the whole Trump thing that Israel started rocket attacking Iran, right? Like, hey, we've been negotiating for 2 months, time to ratchet up the pressure. And then it kind of sort of backfired, because I know like Trump's intent was no nuclear weapons for Iran, right? So maybe he was like, hey, Benny, come over here. Hey, can you like, look, Hamas ain't gonna do anything to you. Hezbollah's not gonna do anything. Just send some rockets that way. You know what I mean? Make some noise. That way we can get these negotiations going, because these guys don't want to budge off the nuclear weapons. And then it was like, oh man, actually they walked away from the negotiating table. Well, option B.
Backfired.
Well, so
Option B. Let's just wreck their facilities.
I don't know how that would play a factor. Trump has been known to be very.
Well, first, what would play a factor?
That's what I'm trying to get to.
Okay.
Trump has been relatively known on how to negotiate, right? The art of a deal, whatever the case may be, and negotiation tactics. So, and a good showman, right? So, him telling Israel to attack, why would Iran then remove nuclear off of the table or continue nuclear strategies if they're being attacked? Wouldn't you not want to be? Wouldn't you want them not to attack in order for the peace deal to sort of be on the table?
Well, because Trump is also a bully. I mean, the dude's a bully. All right, look, they don't want to talk. We're not getting anywhere. Let's put a little more pressure on them. And then when they realize that Russia and China aren't going to come save their butts, you know.
Are they not though?
Have they said anything?
Well,
have they said?
Yeah, they have not said
anything.
They don't need to say anything. Didn't China fly in 3 planes that are cargo planes that were scheduled to go to a different state or a different country that just somehow disappeared from the radars when they went into certain airspace, and then didn't make it to Luxembourg, I think is where they were supposed to be going?
What were they sending to Luxembourg?
I didn't hear this.
Why would they be
Really?
sending
Okay.
missiles to Luxembourg? Or
Why
what?
did their tracking stuff turn off when they were in certain airspace and they never actually landed in Luxembourg?
Maybe we're just looking more closely, and they do this stuff anyway.
Maybe.
I mean, we turn our tracking stuff off, don't we? In
Yeah.
America?
I mean, we could look at it from. I'll play devil's advocate here. What's the there's a saying in the news.
All
or
is fair in love
whatever.
and war.
Nah, when Trump says 2 weeks, it's because he's scared to do something and he's not trying to make the decision, so he just says 2 weeks to brush it off.
Yeah,
Except
I think that's art of the deal kind of stuff.
2 weeks was actually what, 2 days or
I think people started like making fun of the whole 2 week, like this is bullshit, and then they're saying that Trump was like, "I'll show you bullshit." Man,
he's easily manipulated in that way because he's got that like ego that I gotta prove something to people.
I don't think he's ever made a rash decision that has been like that, like from what I've seen, like because he wants to it wants to prove something. Like, sure, he sits there and says 250% tariffs on China. We know that's not going to happen. We know you're just saying it. You're a New York taxi driver. Like, that's the way he sort of talks, right?
Yeah, but sometimes that works. I mean,
I'm not saying it doesn't.
He did that to what was it, Venezuela or whatever, where they were like, "Oh, really? Well, we'll just we'll just put tariffs on you if you won't accept these illegal immigrants into your country that are from Venezuela." Was it Venezuela? I forget. What
I think so. That sounds about right.
and then like within minutes or hours or whatever, the Venezuelan president was like, "Yes,
We'll
yes,
accept
of
the
course. Like, we love you. We love America. We love selling you our oil."
I think that this was a very quick decision. I think he talked to, and before we go any further, right? This whole fucking, oh my God, I really have a problem with the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. It's these two shows that get put on. It's nauseating. Like, and people need to see through the facade and really start like putting pressure for this kind of divisiveness to like stop. And what I mean by that is Miss Warren and all these people. Congress doesn't have a bill. Like Congress never said that we can go to war. Da 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 da. He's the president of the United States. He has the executive power to drop bombs. Fucking Obama didn't have a problem doing it 30,000 times, right? Like, so, like, we as
30,000?
It was something like that. It was 30,000, I think it was. Wow. So yes, Trump has the ability to drop a bomb and make the executive order of that. We've never declared that we're entering a war or that we are in war. And listen, if they come back and they say they want a war with us, sure, there's a lot of stuff on Twitter, like Yemen military. I responded to them yesterday. I was telling Scott this. Yemen military were like, this isn't right. Any of your boats that are coming through here will be handled appropriately. And I'm like, Yemen, and I added them. I was like, at Yemen military, you guys are Yemen, and you guys can turn to be stepmen. Touch our boats, you guys will be dead men. Like there is none of that. Like you're not
moonlighting like, as a freestyle rap artist.
Yeah, all of these
Catch his
people,
next diss track.
Yeah, all of these people want to just like say that they're gonna do something. You're not gonna do anything. Like you're not. Like, let's be real. Like the only we talked about being in an active war with China, and we are. That's not. I'm not changing my stance on that. But like, we're not going into World War III if India and Pakistan don't get involved. We're not going into World War III if Russia and China aren't getting involved. And none of these players and none of these parties are talking about backing anything, right?
Yeah.
This was an Israel-Iran situation. Iran wasn't supposed to be getting nuclear weapons. We knew that they had enrichment fields or whatever you want to call them. And
so here's
boom.
Here's a flip side take on that, right? Just because you have enrichment capabilities and everything, that doesn't mean that you're necessarily approaching the the standard of getting nuke. Like you're not trying to get nukes just because you have enrichment capabilities. There's other usage for enriching plutonium or whatever, uranium. Maybe it's uranium, plutonium, whichever the EOMs they're enriching.
I think you need both of them though. But
so either way, whichever one they're enriching, there's other uses for it. So like just to say they can't have it, but the flip side is other countries are allowed to have it as well, right? Like, so if here's one, right? Does Israel disclose anything about their nuclear program to anybody else?
I don't know if they've signed on the.
They don't.
They're not allowed to have nuclear weapons.
Yeah, but Israel has nuclear weapons.
They're not allowed to.
No, but the point I'm getting at,
everybody knows that they have nuclear weapons.
Yeah, the point I'm getting at is it shouldn't be a thing where it's like you get it, you can't have it. I understand your take. They're saying they want to kill America, whatever. That's all ideology and all that stuff, right? That's not like an actual, okay, if they had it, they would do that. Because if they do that, everybody goes bye-bye. It's a mutual destruction thing. The second one person sets off a nuke, that sets off a chain reaction of everybody else nuking, and then the world comes to an end. And none of them want that, because the idea is if they want that, they don't want to everyone just stop existing. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't benefit anybody for that. So the idea is it's either everybody can have them or nobody can have them. And if everybody can't have them, it can't be, oh, you guys can have them because you're our ally and we're your friends and you have all these agreements with us, but these people that you don't like can't have them. That's not how things should work. And that's not how you're going to end up in situations like this because you're telling people you can't have it, but these people over here can have it. So they're always going to have the power over you in negotiations, in control, in manipulation, any of that, because they have a button to press that says, hey, F you, bye-bye.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't just say, if Iran makes one nuclear missile, then they can't get rid of all of America, right? This is not mutually assured destruction. But
no. But what I'm saying is, if they happen to launch
an unstable country, which I would say,
who says
Iran is not a stable country, but an unstable country having a nuclear weapon, like for instance North Korea or or Iran, right? Where
North Korea has nukes.
But they can't get them to us. So, but I mean, there is no use in making weapons grade purity plutonium. There's no use for it. There's no use for it. Even there's no reason to enrich plutonium to that level. I think civilian nuclear reactors in America generally have 3% purity. The fuel is 3%. I'm pretty sure that's a widely known fact, somewhere in 3 to 5%. If that's all you need, why are you at 99? Right? Why do you need 99% purity? So
where are you getting this? Where are you getting these numbers from?
I don't know. I did a lot of looking into the civilian nuclear.
But how do you know what Iran's level was?
I read an article today about Iran's level. I think it was at 99.3 or something, and you need to be at 99.9, and they were getting to the point where they can enrich it to 99.9. Or maybe it was 93 and 99. I don't remember.
Okay. But that's what I was reading. I read the same thing.
I think more. I store data more qualitatively than quantitatively, but the civilian enrichment, their fuel enrichment is very low, very low. I was surprised to see the number when I saw it. I was like, "What? Why are they only purified to that percentage?" Did you find anything online about the purity?
That. Basically, where it says Natanz destroyed the above ground part of the pilot fuel enrichment plant.
No, but look up purity of U.S. civilian reactors.
Oh, U.S. civilian. I think it's 3.67.
Yeah, it's 3.5% enriched. That's it, right? So what's weapons grade?
You need to be over 90%. I think it's over 90%. For weapons
These are big
grade.
Gaps.
But they're not at that number though.
What are they at?
They're at
close.
60.
They're at 60.
That's not what I read.
I thought I saw that they
Yeah.
were like 93 or 93% of the way there, or some crap like that. Maybe that's what they
this
reported.
BBC article,
That's what they
BBC
reported. But then Mossad agents got involved or something and found that they were closer than that.
All right, so I'm gonna play this, right? We have allies in this world, and some of our allies have nuclear weapons, and we know who they are. We also have adversaries in this world, and they have nuclear weapons, and they know who they are. When the adversaries are not at a 50-50 split, right? That's when things get fucking crazy.
You mean
And that's when-
in terms of having 50% adversaries, 50% allies?
Correct. With nuclear weapons. So if China has nuclear weapons, if North Korea has nuclear weapons, if Russia has nuclear weapons, all these people have nuclear weapons, right? And then you add Iran, and then you sprinkle in some other areas that now all have nuclear weapons, and you have allies on a scale, and you have adversaries on a scale, and that starts to tip in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
The balance of power isn't then an issue, right? So
Okay.
where we have to be mindful, and I said this in the previous pod, right? Iran doesn't like us. You're right. North Korea doesn't like us. China doesn't like us. Russia says they like us. All these places may want to push a button and erase us from the world. We know China's fucking playbook. It's 100-year playbook. We know the playbook. It's written.
Long
It's
game.
there.
Long game, yeah.
It's the long game. It's documented, and anyone who doesn't realize where we are and what we stand in regards to us versus China, there's a problem. But we also saw over the last what's it been, like 5 years, they came up with BRICS, right? What's it? Brazil, China, Russia, India,
and Argentina?
Argentina, something like that. But Iran was trying to get involved in that whole mix, right? When you start having the balance of power tip, and we aren't on the right side of that tipping point, then it becomes a scary world. We also know that the Middle East right now, our biggest ally, if you want to call them an ally, I know there's a lot of fucking people that want to sit there and say there's the hand of Israel in the government, blah, 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 blah. I get it, right? I'm not going to go down that whole rabbit hole. We can do that another time.
Yeah.
Israel is our closest ally in the Middle East, right? And we get a lot of information and intel from them and what's going on in that particular area of the world. We also have a whole bunch of like bases and what there's a whole bunch, right? There's like 25.
Israel is not our only ally.
One of our biggest allies, I said.
Yeah, I mean, we have one of the closest ties with them as compared to other allies in the region.
Right. So,
which is why we need to play this. Why this needs to be played very carefully, because right, we have allies in Muslim countries in that region. I mean, almost every other country in that region is Muslim, right? So any of our are primarily Muslim. So any of our allies there, right? They all dislike Israel. Like our own allies who are, primarily Muslim dislike Israel. So it's like, okay, if we're siding with them against another Muslim nation,
and to make sure we're adding reference here, they don't like Netanyahu and they don't like Israel in its total. It's not Jews.
Yeah, it's not Jews.
Yeah,
they don't like Israel
that
because of the policies that Benjamin Netanyahu has been doing and the way that he's been getting away with things that shouldn't be allowed, which he's been condemned across the different topic, but it's not Jews.
I just want to make specific. Muslims don't hate Jews. It's not necessarily
it's not xenophobic. It's not xenophobia, but it's also
it's
like
Chinese.
It's also like
xenophobia is other religions, but
I mean, also those other Muslim nations have close ties with other Muslim nations who do have very specific problems with Israel, or more problems with Israel, and these are their neighbors, right? So they have to walk a tightrope too, right? And some of them even like spoke out about this and was like, we were cool with America, but not no more, kind of thing. Like, so anyway, yeah, Israel is our biggest ally. Where were you going with that?
And when we're getting this intel from this region of what's happening, right? And we understand that like Iran is, and I get it. We're not forget Netanyahu telling us that Iran has nuclear power. They're getting close. They're getting close. They're getting close. From their perspective, like every percent above 3.5% is closer, right? Like so, like even if they're at 60, which I was reading higher, right? That's getting close to the point where, like, there's a book that's scary. It's a fucking scary book. I started reading it, and it breaks down in 24 minutes. 24 minutes leading up to the pressing of the button. 24 minutes after the button's pressed. 24 minutes after that. And then we're in fucking nuclear holocaust, whatever it's called, nuclear winter, right?
Yeah.
Once a button's pushed again, buttons are pushed.
Yeah.
It's not just one, it's multiple. And sure, maybe not all of the United States is affected. Maybe not all of Russia is affected. But it's enough that this world that we live in isn't the same anymore, and it's probably not going to. If we do come back from it, it's not like we're coming back from it tomorrow, right? It's not like we're coming back from it in the next year or two. These kind of situations are fucking scary, and when you have people who are in power who don't have any fucking care in the world, and it just seems like Kamimi doesn't have a care.
Yeah.
He's willing to fucking kill his own people and is willing to fucking just, when you have that kind of person in power, it's scary, right? And I'm not saying you take him out and it's any better. It may not be.
Yeah.
It probably won't be, right? I don't know how you get it to the point where it will be, but we know where we are now. And where we are now is, again, I don't know who was watching last week, Iran is funding all of these terroristic fucking entities that we've been fighting over the last several decades and have caused a bunch of problem over the last several decades, and they don't like us, and we don't need them to have nuclear power.
Yeah.
That's my take.
I mean, ultimately, right, I mean, you talk about a 50-50 balance of power, but that's not the balance. Like, we're not at 50-50, right? There is a perceived, right, there's a perceived balance of power towards America. Primarily because look at all of our military assets. You tried to tell me earlier that some other country has the best military in the world.
Pakistan has, not military, army.
That's wild.
Okay.
That's, I mean, when we talk about full military capability power,
full military is
right,
the United States.
It's 100% the United States, right? China is gaining ground, right? We can't do anything about that. Can't do anything about that. What are we going to do? Okay, we can put some tariffs on them. We can maybe make their economy collapse a little bit. But like outside of that, like that's only slowing progress. China is going to get there, right? There's nothing we can do about that. Russia, right? Well, again, right? Mutually assured destruction. There's nothing we can do about that. If Russia gets closer, then Russia gets closer, right? Now we have this like allies and axis kind of thing going on in global in the global political spectrum. Iran is on that axis side, as we perceive axis, right? And that's just one more thing that gets them closer to our level of power, right? Us and NATO and that whole block, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like a 50-50, like,
it's
if
not
Iran gets there, now they're up here.
No, it's not
It's
a
like,
50-50.
no. It's like, now they're just a little bit closer, but we can affect Iran. We can't do anything in China, can't do anything to Russia, and the things we can do to China and Russia, I'm sure that we're doing, talk to somebody in the CIA about that. But I mean, look, you're saying we're in an active war with China. I'm saying we're in a cold war with China. I don't think that China is an enemy. I don't see China as an enemy. We have different values. And from before America was even made, right? Some of the I'm just going to cut a clip of you screwing around with your legs and like you being like, what? He's trying to get his sandal on.
Like, he's got an itch.
What?
He's got an itch.
I needed my safety blanket.
Their kind of ethos, in China has always been like, what is good for the masses is the best course forward, right? Like, what is good, what is best choice for all. There's no individualism, right? In America, we have a lot of individualism, right? Whereas in China, their culture revolves around, we do what is best for all of us, not for the individual.
If you succeed, everyone else succeeds. They prop up their country. They prop up their businesses. They control everything.
Is it Confucianism? Is that where, I think that's where
Confucianism?
I think that's where that came from, Confucianism. I forget which kind of philosophy specifically it came from, but that's been ingrained. It's been ingrained in their culture for millennia. Right? So, now, when you talk about Western culture, like expanding into other places, right? That's why you see more individualism in China now than you did before. But they see that as a culture war, right? Like, you are imposing all of your ideals onto our populace, and that's not good for us. It's not good for the government. That's not what we stand for. Those are not our values as a people, blah, 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 right? Like, so I think...
But here's the caveat to that. Who's to determine what's good for the people? Who's to determine what's good for China? And
China.
This is why governments exist.
But okay.
Don't we give our government the power to choose for us what is good for our...
Well, we also
our
vote
society?
on those.
Sure, they vote.
Okay.
They're rigged.
Sure.
But
But that's the point, right? The point
there's
is,
a minority party. They will forever be the minority party.
So again, we're not talking same.
No, we're not talking same.
Right. So like at its core, that is all right. So at its core, fundamental core, it could be a great thing. But when you have people in power abusing the great thing, then it's not a great thing anymore.
Yeah, but how do you know what's good in China? Who are you to say?
When you have people who are rigging systems to stay in power and to not give the people the voice, yeah, I'm going to sit there and say that's not a net positive, that's a net negative, because now the people's voice is not being heard, and is those values or what's good for the population isn't being heard. And this is where I was talking about, like, humanity at its core is very tribal, right? Like, so we fall into these Democrat, Republican, Phillies, Yankees. We fall into all these tribes, but at its core, oh shit, I'm
not Phillies.
At its core, oh, by the way, shout out to Clink Room. Someone asked me about where I get my hats from. So sorry. Pointing to my hats.
So sorry.
So sorry. So sorry for you.
I'm the expert on racism.
So,
here,
go ahead.
China is China And they're looking at it from a time, like you said, if they're playing the 100-year plan, the idea is everything is changing. Progressivism is something relatively new. That's not what was around back then. China is trying to stick to what?
I don't think that's true, but continue.
You don't think it's true?
No.
Progressivism?
Progressivism?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
That what? It's not new?
That it's not new. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Either way, that's fine.
I mean, you know,
relatively speaking,
progressivism of today is you know, there are new ideas that get lumped into that. Progressivism, I mean, you know,
so where else was
basically any form of government or party of government where they're looking to, you know, make changes to the government, fundamental changes to the government, and institute new things and stuff like that. That's all called progressivism, right? And the Republican Party used to be progressives. They used to be progressives. They wanted bigger national government. They wanted all of these things, and then at some point they were like, "No, we don't want this anymore." And there was like this whole flip, right? In I don't know, it was the 50s or whatever. There's this whole swap in ideals where, you know, Democrats now took on the progressivism thing, and Republicans, but progressivism is also different, right?
Was that when the Democrats were like slave owners?
Well, not in the 50s. They weren't slave owners in the 50s.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I think it's 64. Wasn't the segregation abolished in 1964?
Emancipation Proclamation?
No. Segregation, not slavery.
Yeah, but Democrats were still pumping that out.
Yeah. Yeah, but then
Either
all
way,
the Democrats turned into Republicans when the party swapped. So like there was that whole thing too.
Progressivism is new, all right? It's from like the late 1800s, right?
Okay.
China existed far before then. So if you want to talk about like what I'm saying is if they're in the longer game of whatever it is and they're trying to look at their country and maintain their country's core values and maintaining China as China, the idea is when you look at the world, the way it's turning, the way the world is going and how everything is converting into like a big mess of everything being different than what it was. Like,
not trying to cut you off, but like you're talking this way and the mic, like it's cutting out sometimes. Sorry.
All right, my bad.
Yeah, I think it's as
so like.
Oh, so much better.
That's my fault. Is that better?
Yeah.
So like, for example, but what I said was China is trying to maintain China being China. And if you look at it with like, this isn't tied to progressivism, but like if you look at globalization in general, the idea is when the world becomes smaller due to globalization, everything travels, every place ends up becoming a miniaturized version of like the United States, for example, because the experiment that is the United States is a melting pot. Everyone wants to go there. So when you have people from different areas going to different areas and bringing with them their culture, their food, their whatever, you start to lose the core value of those countries and what they previously were. Like Italy, France, Germany, Spain, wherever, Greece. You know, if you look at those countries and you have people immigrating as like, you know, from Africa or wherever else, India, wherever, bringing with them their culture and everything, it waters down and takes away what was France or Italy or Germany or Spain or any of those countries. Absolutely. Right? Now, if you look at China, that doesn't happen because China basically controls what goes on there. That's right. I'm sure there may be some areas where you can get certain types of things. I mean, there's like, okay, there's McDonald's, there's Burger King, there's all those things. That's a really reductionist view of it. But the idea is they're looking at the country as a whole and maintaining that structure of this is what China is. This is what China is going to continue being. So I'm not saying that Xi Jinping is like, you know, that's a great model to be doing it. But the premise behind it still is we're maintaining China to be China. Yeah. And with that, you need.
But are they, right? Like, because like if you're rigging elections or you're rigging these voters' votes, are you keeping things the same or you're keeping things the same in the way you like? we'll use the Bible or we'll use the Quran. We'll use all these things. It's old context and old literature, and people are trying to decipher what it means and be able to manipulate what it means in their perception to them. Similar to the way I looked at the movie and I saw X, Y, and Z, and Scotty said, "Oh, there's some zombies," right? I'm just kidding. I didn't mean it like that, but yes.
How'd that go
Just
again?
mean side eye.
Damn.
But yeah, so like when we look at it, like I understand, like, hey, this is China, this is what China is, but when you allow a small minority of people to control the narrative and what it is, are we getting what someone 250 years ago said what China is, or are we getting what he thinks China is today? And that's where...
Well, communism is not 250 years old.
I was just using this as an example.
Yeah.
But also, if we look at the long
In China,
game,
I mean.
if we're looking at the long game, what's the year? China's going to supplant the United States by 2049. Is that the year? It's in the 2040s. I think it's 2049, but I could be mistaken.
Give me a second.
Yeah, I mean, this is the new way to... Population control is the new way to win wars, without actually having wars, right? So,
Well, there was an interesting video I saw. It was like from like 16 years ago or something. Like it was from whenever it was, and it was basically talking about the civilization replacing rate. You have to have a certain number of kids per family in order to replace the population.
yeah.
And most of these European countries have fallen below
And
the
America.
non-recoverable replacement rate. So like
Right.
it's 2.1 kids per family in order to maintain a population and be able to replace the population. And
I don't know
they're
about
not
that.
reproducing.
Fucking Nick Cannon's pumping out a bunch of them kids.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I mean, he is.
That's not enough.
He's got a lot of little ones running around.
Yeah, that goes into a
But-
whole nother political topic where we definitely need to like triple the child credit, so that way we incentivize people to have children and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know,
the problem-
I don't know if you guys know, but I'm paying like $31,000 a year for childcare, and that's like middle of the road childcare. Like, so-
but like,
Damn.
Who can afford having
the-
kids these days?
Well, I hear
But,
you,
but
but
we're
then-
not going to go into that. What we're going to do is we're going to wrap up this segment because we have a lot of other topics to talk about.
I hear you. I was just
And-
segueing.
and
I was
uh,
segueing.
and
Adjust your
just
mic, Tony.
quick, as a good conclusion to the Iran-Israel conflict, where we just friggin' rabbit holed for like 30
To
minutes
China.
on China. Okay, so back to Iran-Israel. Is there going to be an escalation or de-escalation, Mo?
Escalation.
What kind of escalation?
Iran.
You think U.S. is going to get further involved?
Yes.
Escalation, de-escalation.
Define this.
Is the conflict in Iran?
I
in
think
Iran,
I
Iran
think
gonna
right
escalate
now
or
I think
de-escalate?
right now what's going to happen is conversations on how to kill him.
Khomeini?
Yes.
Regime change is a terrible idea,
Well,
but we don't have
I-
time to talk about that
I
anymore
understand
on
that,
this
but
episode.
that's the only way that you're going to stop anything right now is he is on a power trip and he's
So-
going to try to do something at the livelihood of
I don't
all
think he
of
wants to. I don't think he wants to. But
If he didn't want to, then any of these tweets that are coming out from Iran wouldn't be happening.
yeah, I don't think Khomeini has control of the country. That's my tinfoil hat anyway, I guess, on that.
Okay.
But I think he is controlled by the people who are powerful around him. He's kind of like one of those. He's
just
like
the face.
Yeah, he's the face. All right. So you think there's escalation? You think that they're going to depart Khomeini, and then you think it's going to de-escalate?
I don't think that they're going to be looking at a regime change. I think what is going to try. I mean, you're
Well, they
looking at
eliminated
it.
the rest of the regime.
Yes, you're looking at it from a perspective of what we've done in the past, and I'm hoping that we've learned that what we've done in the past doesn't work.
Okay.
So what is going to be looked at to do is try to plant, and I don't know what that looks like. But if I'm going to put my hat on, and I'm saying I'm the one making charges here, I am going to look at taking out all of the people in power that's over there that has changed the livelihoods of all the Iranian people over the last 3 or 5 decades, and try to put somebody in power that is going to hold power and bring back that civilization to where it was going.
Yep. Okay. I don't think any of that's going to happen. I really, really hope for de-escalation. Really hope that this is it. Iran realizes, look, guys, the gig is up. We're done. China's not coming to the rescue. Russia's not coming to the rescue. And I know you're going to say, Mohammed, I understand China's going to supply weapons and arms and whatever. Every war that has ever happened ever, there's always somebody on the other side making some money off of selling munitions to somebody, right?
Yeah, that's why there's war.
Right. And we don't sell munitions to Iran, especially after we just dropped 30,000 pounds of explosives into their mountain. But I really hope there's de-escalation. I don't think this is it. I think there's going to be a temper tantrum, and then I think there's going to be de-escalation, and that's my take on what's going to happen next. I really, really hope Ted Cruz is not able to talk to the president, because Ted Cruz is like 100% like regime change, yeah, and like I don't think that's a good idea. I think you need to smack the puppy, which we just did, put him in his place, and then leave him there, right? Because there's no point in smacking a puppy and then eliminating that puppy. Anyway, so
to bring this into our next topic,
yeah,
and controlling said narratives.
Oh, we do this in America.
Canton,
Massachusetts.
We were. Oh, I was not going there. I was not going there.
Your mic. You gotta turn it a little.
I was not going there. I was going somewhere else.
Oh,
I know you've been itching to talk about Karen. I know you love Karen.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean the viewers love Karen. That's a fact.
Yes, they do. I got feedback.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about conspiracy theories.
Oh goodness.
And someone.
So pause. We've got 30 minutes left.
Okay, pause.
So what do you guys want to talk about? How long is simulation theory going to take?
We can hit it as fast or as short as we want.
Scott, you do what you want to do. Lead the way.
No, I mean we can go.
Lead the way.
We can go with whatever you want. We got 30 minutes left.
Lead the way.
Saying.
Obviously, you thought that was a bad play. Lead the way. You want to talk about Karen? Talk about Karen.
Oh, I don't know why he's turning this into a fight.
I'm not turning into a fight.
Turning into a fight.
Scott, lead the way.
All right. Simulation theory.
Okay. It's not where you wanted to go, so don't be a bitch. Lead the way. You had your plan.
Muhammad,
lead the way.
Tell us about conspiracy.
Scott,
tell us about
that's not where you
theories.
wanted to go.
Why is he turning this into a fight?
Because I'm calling you out. So
For
go
what?
to
For
put your
what?
fucking belt on.
I'm saying
your security blanket.
We've got 30
and
minutes.
Go
what do we want to
all
talk
right.
about?
Well, then go talk about trials. That's what you wanted to do. Talk about it. Lead the way.
Let's talk about conspiracy
Karen Reed.
theories.
Lead the way.
Simulation
we have
theory.
30 minutes. Lead the way. Karen Reed.
Simulation theory.
I'm going to
Go
get
ahead,
up and I'm
Muhammad.
going to leave.
Then do it.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't.
We've already got 2 hours of content.
That's fine. Then let's wrap it up here then. You want to talk about Karen? Talk about it. And then if we can, we'll talk about the rest.
I don't really have much to talk about with Karen.
Well, okay, so when I said conspiracy theory, that's not the direction that you wanted to go. That's the biggest topic that's left on the board outside of trials. And you thought we were going Karen Reed. That's why you mentioned the Massachusetts government. There's a lot to talk about that. You've made mention that there's lots to talk about that. You've made mention that the people want to hear that. You made mention about the views on that. So instead of me wasting time here, talk about it. I'm not pissed off, but I'm going to get pissed off if you don't talk about it.
Sound pretty upset. I don't have much to talk about on the Karen Reed.
Holy shit, dude.
Topic. So, one of the explosions that happened this week was the verdict that came from the Karen Reed trial. Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, guilty, not guilty. So, you know, I think everybody expected this. Everybody expected this. But what comes next? What comes next? Now we got a
federal investigation. What do you think?
Oh man.
Well, I think it's bullshit, for one. I think the way that this last week has fucking transpired has been fucking crazy. We saw that the jurors had questions, and they came back and they issued question 1, 2, and 3, and those questions were pretty cut and dry, and it led people to believe that, all right, they think that she's not guilty on all charges. They're looking at just the OUI charge, and that's where we're headed. So they submit those. In the midst of Bev talking about those 3 questions to everyone, the defense team is like, hey, we can't just send them a slip with not answering this question. Like, we need to know more, or we need to tell them, give us the verdict on what you believe, and we'll worry about the rest later. We don't want a hung jury because of an OUI fucking charge, right? And they're looking for clarifications. Even the slip that was submitted was questionable. It was confusing. If you looked at the slip, it could be confusing in regards, am I saying guilty for vehicular manslaughter? If I put OUI charge here, it's fucking confusing. So make it easier for us to read. So that was Tuesday, and I was like, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win, right? And during the midst of that happening, another question gets asked, but Bev doesn't look at those questions. They go to lunch. She submits the questions back to the answers back to them, and then comes back to this 4th question, which answering at the point where you're going to answer it is going to confuse everything. So then sends it back, and it's like, all right, well, we should get an answer back relatively quickly. Well, no answer came on Tuesday. And you're like, and we're like, what the fuck is going on here?
And then I was like, I'm gonna win.
Sure.
Price is Right rules.
Yeah, Price is Right rules. He said Friday. He said Friday. You said Friday. No. You
said I think it's gonna be Thursday.
No, you said I think it's gonna be Friday.
But I want to say Wednesday.
Price is Right rules and make
just
it
in case we have it on Thursday. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you said Friday. Yeah, I know. I pay attention.
But my call was Wednesday.
Then on Wednesday, which was even fucking crazier, it's like, we got a verdict. Oh, pump fake. We don't have a verdict.
We don't got a verdict.
And I'm like, wait, what? No, this can't be serious, right? Like, you're not, this has never happened before. Like, you're not, I'm so confused. Now I'm like.
So I think this whole thing was that, like, they said that they had a verdict, but they weren't supposed to say that they had a verdict. It wasn't like they went back to deliberate. It was like they made a comment. We have a verdict, but like it's not a verdict unless it's read.
No,
that's what I heard.
That's not. No, they had a verdict. They submitted a slip.
Yeah,
the verdict was in, and then a knock on, and the verdict was submitted.
I thought this was
and
like
then there was a knock on the door, and they were like, "No, we don't have a verdict."
Oh,
and then Bev said, we're going to tuck this verdict in this envelope and put it in the safe. And I'm like, oh, so here comes the fishy shit.
Judge
like
Bev.
Something's about to happen, right?
Yo, Brian Higgins is about to go in that safe and change the verdict.
So
you go back to the group chat.
Yeah. So long story short,
Bev's in the group chat.
Now, because we've engaged with so many of our followers and the people who are engaging in our content, it's opened our eyes to a lot of other crimes that have happened in the Massachusetts surrounding area of Canton.
In the same.
No, it's that girl's not Canton. It's a neighboring town.
Really?
Muhammad, I forget the woman's name. I can look it up in a second.
Sandra.
Yeah.
Birchmore.
Sandra Birchmore.
Oh my God, Sandra Birchmore.
So, like, they said that she unalived herself.
She lives in Canton.
Her body was found dead in Canton.
But the cops aren't from Canton.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
So the cops.
Well, yeah. Neither was Michael Proctor.
The cops have been raping her since she's been 15 years old.
Yep.
Like
what?
The one who's been grooming her.
Yeah. So they've been having
Michael something.
He'll look it up, but like
Matthew.
Matt something.
Oh, Matthew Farwell, 39-year-old
yeah.
Northeastern resident. So Northeastern, I guess.
No, it was one of those biblical names. They like to use those.
Both Birchmore and Farwell believed he was the father of her unborn child, but DNA testing of the fetus and Farwell rules out the possibility.
He was married, and he was having an affair with this girl who was 23, but like has been talking to her and doing things with her since she's been 15.
That's right.
Also, other cops have been involved in this as well. So she was talking about, I want you to have one of my baby. I want you to have my baby. I want you to have my baby. But he's fucking married with another woman, like, and has a family. He's using this as a side piece, and she's young, dumb, and whatever. I'm not saying that she's stupid, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Young, dumb, and full of cum.
Very stereotypical cop thing to do, though. Have a side piece.
Yeah, very stereotypical. So.
Abuse of power.
Then starts having a relationship with her. She, I think, believed that it was his child. He believed it was his child. He's like, we can't have a baby. So all of a sudden, she unalives herself, and that's what is shown. And then because there's a reporter in the area who's like not letting it rest, they do a further investigation, and they come to find out that it wasn't someone unaliving themselves. It was the hands of a police officer. But there's also other stories as well. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like he was indicted of killing a witness because he was in the Staunton Police Department, and apparently he strangled her to conceal evidence that he had committed crimes such as sexually exploiting Birchmore since she was 15 and he was 27. Apparently he groomed her while she was part of his former police department's youth program. And often
explore some police
relations with her.
Oh, there was somebody here in Kensington that was doing the same thing.
And apparently, you know, she wasn't the only one targeted in this Police Explorers program. There were other people. But you talked about, you know, they did an investigation, they found this. Like, I mean, the key details of that were that supposedly she departed herself basically the same way Epstein was found, right?
Oh.
With a belt around the neck onto like a doorknob, right? And this is like a very, I guess, typical way to do that. But the feds got involved. This is a federal trial, right? So some ex examiner from New York City was like, well, look at all these broken neck bones. You don't get broken neck bones from hanging from a doorknob. Like, you just suffocate or you know, the blood stops going to the brain, those kind of things, right? You don't get broken neck bones. This is strangulation, right? And I guess he was working for the feds, but the feds have brought this murder trial, you know, to the police. But the crazy thing is the medical examiner of Canton didn't see these broken neck bones. Like, come on, this is like telltale sign, right? Like, if you
and he declined to change the manner of death on the death certificate.
They declined? Wow.
Massachusetts Chief Medical Examiner Office has so far stood by its original determination and declined to change the manner of death on her death certificate.
This goes all the way up to the state. Oh,
and
that's
that's why people are saying how crooked it is, and they're terrified of the Massachusetts State Police.
Dude, this Massachusetts. You know what? I don't even know if I want to go off on this other thing that we had, but like or that had happened like 2012. The whole like the crime lab thing where the lady was like taking all of the drugs. She was literally taking all of the drugs, and then she would like she tampered with everything. You know, she messed with all, like, she was a drug addict, testing the drugs to make sure that they were the right drugs and stuff like that, and then replacing it with not drugs.
I remember that story.
But like, yo, Massachusetts State, like, they caught that lady, but then there was like this whole thing, like, yeah, we know it's tampered with, but we're not going to tell anybody, and we're going to keep all these convictions that we, like, 2,000 people or something, and it's Massachusetts is out of control. It's out of control. You can be framed for murder. You can be framed for drug dealing. You could be framed for whatever the hell you want these days. And like, they still stand by it. That's wild. The feds need to step in.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your husband, because they're framing everybody out here.
We commented on that in the FBI one. So, stay tuned for more about the Sandra Birchmore case, and as we dig into this and as the trial gets started.